or cleaning of old, interior care can give you years of worry-free comfort. Let interior care help you maintain a clean and healthy environment for your family.
Chattanooga is full, as you know, of nonprofits doing great work every day, but at the top of the list every year, the Chambliss Center for Children finds its name. Liz Blasberry is here this morning for the first time. Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You and I were talking, and it's very easy for me to pick up the heart that you and the rest of your staff have for what you do. You wanted to talk this morning specifically about the need for foster parents right now.
Yes, there really is a need in our Chattanooga community for foster homes who are willing to take school-aged children and sibling groups into their home. There are almost 900 children in our area here in Tennessee, and 9,000 across the state of Tennessee, children who are in state custody right now. So it is a significant need in our community.
When you place a child with a foster family who is school-aged, do they have the option of staying at the school they've been going to versus going to the school that new family is now zoned for?
They do. So there is what they call a best interest meeting, and they look at what's in the best interest, whether it's to stay in the school they were at before they came into foster care or whether to go to the school that the foster parent is zoned for.
I'm sure you hear this all the time, that people finally come to you to be a foster family and they'll say, we thought about it for years and then we heard about such and such, or we saw this child and we knew we had to do it. Is that commonly said?
It is. It's a big decision, and we understand that, and we want parents to think about it fully before they make the leap, but there's no harm in coming and asking questions and getting a little bit more information to decide if it's right.
Okay, so that's what you're doing. It's a free virtual training class, right?
Yes.
Coming up in a week or so?
It is. It's starting next Tuesday night.
So is that the time, if you can log on, if you will, and just listen? You don't have to commit?
You do not have to commit. The first session is an information session, and so it's literally just to get information about the process, how it works, what are some of your big questions that you want to know about the process, and there's absolutely no commitment.
You mentioned to me, you kind of touched on it here, about sibling groups and how difficult it is. Those kids have already left home.
Yes.
If they have to break up big brother to little brother or sister.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking to think about, because it's already a difficult enough situation for children to be removed from their homes, and then to think about them being separated from their brothers and sisters is heartbreaking. So we really want to be able to find homes that can take more than one child and keep those sibling groups together.
I guess it's different for everybody, but you hear on the national news all the time about people who have, 3 or 4 biological children, then they find their hearts opening up to multitudes of foster children.
Yeah.
The more the merrier is often what you see.
Sometimes you do. There are amazing families out there, and we have some of those amazing families who really have got it down of how to parent multiple children and how to make it work.
Sometimes people feel like they finally have it down once their kids have kind of grown and left the house. So if you're in your 50s or 60s, can you still consider doing this?
Absolutely. There is no age limit.
So you're wanting people just to kind of sign up so that you have a general idea of how many people are going to be there. Is it a question and answer session, even though it's virtual?
It is. So there is information we'll present, just kind of general information, but definitely an opportunity to ask questions.
I mentioned how much we all love the Chambliss Center, and the community does as a whole. It always amazes me how many years y'all have been around, and I never can remember the number. It's a big one.
We're coming up to 150 years.
150 years. And it all began with some local women who, through their church, really, right?
Yes.
Had an outreach to help.
It started as an orphanage, yes, during the yellow fever epidemic. So, and has changed as the needs of the community have changed.
Do you have a need, too, for volunteers right now, or are you pretty well staffed that way?
We do. Volunteerism looks a little different now with the pandemic, but we are starting to bring some folks back to our campus, especially for outside projects. There's also volunteer opportunities coming up through another project we've got going on called the Isaiah House.
Oh, yeah.
And that is going to be primarily volunteer driven and volunteer run, that project. So there's definitely some opportunities out there.
And the Isaiah House, refresh my memory, is intended to be a home where the children can come when they're removed from their home to make them feel secured and loved, right?
Yes, it is a place where they can come and get a meal, get clean, play with toys, and not be in a cubicle sitting there for hours and sometimes days.
Well, it's wonderful. And maybe the virtual experience with this training class will give even more people the encouragement to come and log on and listen.
That'd be great.
Knowing that there is no commitment, except that when you finish hearing it, you're probably going to be having a long conversation in your kitchen about how you want to make this next step. So you would like people to respond either by emailing or calling?
Yes, that would be great. So you can either call 693-2580 or email fostercare@chamblisscenter.org.
Always good to have y'all here on the show.
You.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you so much.
When your family gathers around a shakaroni from Papa John's, you're sharing more than extra cheese and pepperoni. You're sharing scholarships, meals, and laughter.